So y'all know earlier this week we fired the wide receivers coach, and people are thinking like that's just like a scapegoat fire, or they're trying to send a message to Zach Robinson that hey, your job's on the line. I watched the offense like 2 or 3 times over from the all 22, and I can confidently say it's not just I'm finna fire him just because. Like if you watch this game alone, there were so many miscues, so many different things that were thrown off that it's just like, okay, I can understand why. And this is the first play that I want to show y'all. So if you weren't in the stream, what they're doing right here, they're going to motion Tyler Algier into the backfield, and they're going to pretty much do a duo run. But out here, this is where it's, this is the main thing we're looking at. We're going to have a bubble screen towards the bottom of the screen where you're supposed to block the guy in front of you, throw it out here, be a one-on-one with the safety, okay? Keep this in mind, one-on-one with the safety. The coverage really doesn't matter behind it because it's such a quick hit and play. So when we go ahead and play this forward just a little bit, you're gonna see something. So one, Morig, he's gonna blitz, and Drake, he points it out. Cool, that's a good thing by him. But where he goes wrong is he goes and he doesn't even get anybody. Initially, he just drifts upfield and then, I'm gonna go get the safety. But however, you're supposed to go get the corner in this situation. Now it could have been taught, okay, go get the safety because we think we can make this corner miss because corners don't like tackling. And if that was taught to go get the safety first, then that's bad play design. But in a normal offense, you're supposed to go get the corner on the bubble route, and then you make it a one-on-one with the safety, because guess what? The safety's further back. He has to come down from range, make a tackle in space, right? So this is one of the things where it's like, that's a receivers coach thing. You got to teach him, hey, go get the corner. Don't go get the safety. No, he's closer to the play. And if it was go get the safety, Drake, you don't have to be a robot. Go get the corner, man. Because look, the corner goes completely unblocked, and it's a 2-yard gain. Now imagine if he got Mike Jackson. He's gonna have the entire sideline to work with, and that's probably an explosive play right there. Now this is also something I would chalk up to the receivers not running the routes in the correct timing, and that's everything in the offense. So when we look at what we're doing on offense, we're going to be doing a bootleg where we're going to fake the handoff and get out on a boot action. Okay, we're going to have Ray come across on a slide route. That's important. You're going to have Kyle act like he's blocking with the zone run, and he's going to get out on his route. Drake's running a corner route, and then you're going to have Darnell Mooney on a high cross coming from the backside. Okay, and the way you read this, you're going to be reading this low to high. So 1, 2, 3. You're probably alerting this right here because you don't want to throw unless you get a certain look or he's just wide open. Okay, now the Panthers, they are in quarter half, so we're going to get our 3 deep, 4 underneath with our quarters and our 2 halves, or in our actual half. So you got your quarter, half, and then you have your 4 underneath, which would be the quarter flat right here, hook seam, 3 up is 3, and then the actual flat guy. Okay, so the issue with this play comes in once again, revolving around Darnell Mooney. This time he's at fault for this because once again, when I say timing is everything, I really do mean it, because you're not supposed to run this route full speed. You're not supposed to get across the field on your high horse so fast, right? You're supposed to get across the field, but you're not supposed to go so fast to where you're kind of jumbled up in the, where Drake is. So we're going to get to where Mike is pretty much rolling out right here. He wants to throw it. I think he wants to throw it to one of these guys right here, but you see it's so jumbled up, right? Because Drake's right here, he's running, and he's not even 5 yards away, running pretty much to the same area. Okay, now if he was right here and then he was running into that space, I really think Mike could make this type of throw right here, because he's chasing Drake London, and that's going to clear up guess what, all of this space right here. Okay, and Mike can make that throw. But as you can see, the timing is off because he's just rushing the route, and you see they're in the same space. They're separated by less than 5 yards, and he has to sidearm it to Pitts, and that could have been an interception if it was any higher. As you can see, the timing was off right here because you don't want him racing into the picture so fast to where if he catches the ball, he ain't got nowhere to go. It's one of those instances where the coverage is so far pushed all the way to the sideline, okay, where everybody's out of the picture, to where once again nobody is covering him, running into space where you're anticipating it being about that much space. Okay, because he is, and since he is the last read in the progression, you don't want to run your route full speed, and that's exactly what he did. And you see it threw the timing off, and you don't want that at all if you're a quarterback. Okay, Now this is another example. It's kind of highly debated at this point, and I also went over this on my stream, and from my interpretation, I think this was another, I think it was a miscue by Mike, but apparently a lot of people think this is a miscue by Ray Ray. So once again, I went over this on my stream, where on the offensive side, we're going to get a motion, an over motion into a lead swing, which means Kyle's going to be a blocker for Bijan on a swing route. Okay. And once again, when I said on my stream, you usually have these tagged underneath, or you have these tagged underneath a dagger concept. That's mainly what we've seen from, the McVay system, or the Shanahan McVay system, where Matt LaFleur, he does the simple dagger concept behind this, right? Where you're gonna have your in cut and your clear out route, and once again, at a certain point, if it's one high, you're gonna cross the safety's face. If it's too high, you're gonna split the safeties. Okay, but just at its core, remember, it's usually this right here is usually behind dagger. You normally don't see it, but however, apparently what people are thinking is this is supposed to be Ray Ray on some kind of outbreaking route, and Darnell Mooney's just going to be clearing out space, just splitting the safeties apparently. And then as I watch this play again, I'm not sure why Zach Robinson did this, but he only has Drake just running this stop route. Okay, if it's one thing you don't want to do, now I understand you do have your lead swing coming from over here, okay, but you don't want him running a static route, especially with the covers that they're in. So I'm going to draw everything back up in my interpretation of it, or we're going to do what actually happens, or what people are assuming is supposed to happen. So this is what people are assuming. Okay, now coverage wise, they're in 2 invert, which means you're going to still have cover 2, right? Or invert Tampa 2 rather. So you're still going to have your cover 2, you're going to have your flat players, your hook seam, your pole runner right here through the middle, your other hook seam, and your flat. Okay, this safety is going to rotate over here to play this deep half. JC's playing the deep half. That's the main difference in 2 invert, is that the safety in the corner, they switch responsibility. So now he's playing the flat. Okay, Trayvon Wallace is going to be playing this hook seam. Roseman's going to be playing the pole runner. Okay, Mike Jackson, he's playing pretty much a hard trap on anything in the flat, and then you're going to have your nickel be the other hook seam. Okay, but however, what he will do, he will widen with this because he sees Mike pump fake at it. Okay, and to give the people credit that think this is supposed to be an outbreaking route, Mike, he did throw an interception like this before, against Washington, where there was supposed to be this outbreaking route, and funny enough, you had 2 guys in the same spot on that play too, but he threw it as in he's anticipating him running this out, but Ray Ray was just running this in cut behind the clear out route. So look at this, we're gonna see how it plays out. You're gonna see the covers rotate. Okay, you see JC's playing his deep half, he's rotating to the deep half. Roseboom is late, he's gonna go get over there he's supposed to be the pole runner, but he's not. Okay, but you see the cover shifts all the way over there, and I'm not sure why Mike pump faked it. I said this before on stream, I'm not sure why he pump faked that, because that's not something you throw immediately. You throw that as a check down. Okay, but you see, he was expecting some kind of outbreaker. Okay, the ball doesn't get affected by this defender right here, and if it was any higher, that's an interception. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but I guess it got fixed by firing him, because we didn't have this problem with CJ Yates, even though we had Arthur Smith at court or play caller. So, and then this is the last one I want to look at, because I do think this is also on the wide receivers coach for not properly teaching scramble drills. So this is what happens. We're going to get the Buccaneers. They're going to be in quarters. So if you don't know what quarters is, I'm gonna just draw it up again. It's literally just like one of the most conservative, aggressive defenses ever, right? You probably wondering, how can you be both at the same time? I know it's possible. So look, once again, everybody's in their quarter, okay? And you're gonna have your 3 underneath defenders. So it's really like a leverage-based defense where you're not trying to get out leverage. So you're gonna have, your guys dropping out right here, okay? Now offensively, what we're gonna be getting this skinny post by KC Washington. You're gonna get this square in by Drake. I forgot the name of the route in this playbook. Let me go look at it. This is what this route is called. It's called a locker route, okay? It's called this. Read route to 18 yards, plant and break flat across. And this is exactly what he's doing. So you're gonna see he's gonna be doing that, okay? Now let's get back to like the actual objects of this play. So defensively, once again, I'm just gonna go over this. So once again, they're in quarters, okay? So this is also like a pattern matching coverage. So we're gonna do this real quick. Everything is based off the number 2 receivers. So we're gonna look at the number 2 receivers. They're going to be chipping and releasing into the flat, okay? This is what they're doing. So as a safety, you're supposed to read this number 2 receiver. So if you read that number 2 receiver's chipping, you have the free range to come and double team, the number 1 receiver. And that's exactly what happens over here. This is exactly what happens over here. So just letting y'all know that that's what happens. But this is where the play goes wrong, right? So we're gonna get this. Everybody's, the linebackers are gonna drop out. They're gonna play their zones, right? So Mike is gonna get pressure up the middle. He's gonna get up out of it. But you see, let's look at Ray. He's gonna work upfield, okay? And he's looking back at the quarterback. And what Mike told him after the play is to come back. So that means he wants him to fall off of his route and work back towards the sideline so he can give him, somewhere to throw the ball. Okay. Now Drake was open for sure, but Mike thinks he probably can't, reset fast enough to throw this on the run, even though he's working left. I don't think he thought he could make this throw, which he probably can. He just, pressure bearing down in his face right here. Okay. So once again, he's expecting Ray to fall off and he just has to throw the ball. And then if you look at him after the play, you can see he's, motioning to him, come back. And you see, like, either he could have been talking to Drake, because if maybe he was talking to Drake, and if he was talking to Drake, it still applies here to the same rules where you work back towards the quarterback, give him somewhere to throw. Either you work back down to him or you fall off of your route and come back. Same difference. It doesn't matter who he's talking to. Because then when you look at Casey Washington 30 yards downfield, he starts to work back. So he got the memo. Granted, he's had more reps with, Mike from last year to this year. He's had more reps with them as opposed to Drake and Ray. But you see, once again, he's telling him, motion him, hey, come back to me. And that's a wide receiver issue, not the quarterback. Now, I don't necessarily have an opinion on the firing. I was kind of surprised by it too, just like everybody else was. I'm not sure it's really going to change anything because some receiver coaches, they do have input on the game plan. So maybe something changes from that perspective. But the main thing I am looking out for is, how the offense changes with Zach Robinson on the sideline, because apparently that's worked before in this franchise where, once again, I think it was it Dirk Cutter? I think he came down to the sideline when Matt was here when he was young, and it really helped the offense. But I'm just in wait and see mode at this point with the offense. The defense, they're fine. Offense, y'all gotta prove it to me. So that's it for me.